Now, the process for Access to Work is actually pretty simple. And it starts with an online form. You can do it by calling, but honestly, the waiting times on those phone lines are up to an hour long. And then you've got to go through it with a guy, which takes twice as long as just doing it online. So if you're capable, get online and do it. The links are all on our website, all on the Access to Work page. You find everything you need right there. So on this form, you're going to be asked questions on your condition, your disability. Remember, no certification is required. You do not need a diagnosis. You just need to be able to say that it affects your work significantly. It will ask you details about your job. Now, this is difficult because it does mean that it is very advantageous to disclose your condition at work. So we can help you find ways around that if you don't want to start telling people at work. But it definitely speeds up the application process if we can make that really simple. So you'll need to say what your job is, the length of time you've been employed, and your employer's contact details with someone that they can contact to verify your employment. So it might be a good idea to tell your work that you have applied. We've got forms and templates that you can use to do that on the website. I'll put them right there. There'll be a question on there about whether you have problems traveling to and from work and if you need support with that. And this can include things like if you get anxiety, or you might find it overwhelming on public transport, or you have sensory issues that make traveling more difficult. So make sure you include anything you can think of. There'll be another question about how your condition makes it harder to do your job. And this is all about assessing what help is right for you. So don't be afraid to put in anything you want there. It's all confidential. Nothing will get back to your work unless you choose to discuss it with them. This could include things like if you have ADHD, things like admin tasks might take you the whole day, or you might get anxiety from your RSD, or have difficulty regulating your emotions, or impulsive control, impulsive outburst control, or diary and time management or organization issues. These are all the kinds of things that you might want to put on that form. The next question will be about your current coping strategies. Now, this is just to start to get an idea of what you already have in place. Access to Work is designed to be in addition to the reasonable adjustments that your workplace gives you. It's not assuming that you get them. So current coping strategies and support for you might mean perhaps you have an app that you use, even if you haven't managed to work out how to use it consistently all the time, or perhaps you get work from home time, or perhaps you started online therapy. Any of these things that Access to Work can work in addition to. It's just to give the assessor an idea of where you're at right now. Now, the next question on the form will be about whether you know what help and support you need. Now, this isn't a trick question. This is for them to decide whether they need to send you to an assessor to help you work out what support you need, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because sometimes they can spot things that you haven't thought of yourself. Now, the Vet Project is very happy to help with this process, to help you identify your needs and identify things that could help and things that Access to Work could pay for. So support might look like coaching support, admin support, coaching to help you improve your executive function or build routines or regulation techniques, breathing techniques, those kind of things. Admin support to help manage your diary. It could mean things like earplugs for sensory issues or whatever it is that you have identified as being something you struggle with at work. Now, it's not necessary to have all the answers. This is really important. You do not need to know everything, but it will speed up your application significantly if they do not have to send you for an assessment. They do not have to find a space with an assessor, which can be in person or online, depending on what's available. And so you can imagine the wait list for that just increases the time you're going to have to wait. So the more of this you can have worked out and be specific on yourself, I think their criteria for deciding if you need to get sent for assessment is if you have significant knowledge of what you need. So if you can fulfill that criteria, it really will speed up your application. Now, after you've filled out your online form, about 5 or 6 months later, I'm going to be honest, so they say 12 to 15 weeks, but they're just so overloaded right now, the wait time is 5 to 6 months. After that time, they will give you a call. Now, for someone with ADHD who's not very good at waiting and doesn't like answering phone calls, this is not an ideal system, but it is the only system we have. So they will give you this score and they will discuss with you, if you can remember it, your application and your needs. And from that, they'll either decide to send you to the assessor or they will decide right then and there. Now, if you go to the assessor, they will send back the report and it will be the same outcome. They will decide how much you are going to be awarded and what it should pay for. So you will get your letter of award and it will say how much you've been awarded, and this can vary greatly. So let's take coaching, for instance. The usual minimum amount is about 1,200, which doesn't go very far over a 6-month period, up to about 3,000. So it's important to ask for the right thing and be specific about what you need. Again, we can help with this. We can help get the right amount of money to pay for the right kind of coaching support for you. And once you have that award, then it's all about the money. It's all about who pays for what first. So sometimes it will mean they'll go to through your work, and they will get your work to pay for it first and then ask for reimbursement from them. Sometimes they ask you as an individual, that's usually if you're self-employed, and sometimes they won't ask for anything. They'll ask for instance, the coach to bill them directly. And sometimes they will just award you the money. So it all depends on what the assessor thinks on the day, and it can vary greatly from between assessors and between regions and between areas. So we couldn't possibly predict it, but we can give you as much support as we can based on our experience. So that is the process as far as we understand it right now. Now, it's important to say that it is constantly evolving, constantly changing, and it varies so much between area, between region, and between assessors even. So there are so many variables, but we are here to help you with as many of those variables as we can understand at the time that we're giving the help. Now, it's important to say right now that mental health already is considered slightly differently now. So Access to Work actually sends you to one of 2 organizations to deal with mental health conditions separate to them, and then they fund that. And so already there are branches of it starting to come out. But for the most part, it is just this simple process. It is fill out the application form, get the assessment, get the funding, and spend it how you need to better help you at work. And we are doing everything in our power to help you through that whole process and make it as easy as possible, provide you with all the tools and resources that you need to make the most of your application. So if you have any questions, if there's anything you need to know, if there's any information that we've missed that you want to tell us, let us know on the website, www.thevetproject.co.uk, and we will get back to you as quickly as we possibly can.